What is up everyone on YouTube, and today we're going to be talking about the unit on your screen here and how you guys actually want to build him. Now the unit we're talking about is Zahhak. He is currently running in the current banner rotation, and he's definitely a unit that you want to pick up because he's so strong at doing single target damage and dealing with a lot of the meta units that are very annoying. Now the reason why he's so good is because he's very easy to build, and he actually has built-in hit chance on his S3, making it so that he can actually bypass evasion. And when you pair him with an artifact such as Symbol of Unity, which will give him 20% extra hit chance, he bypasses the base 50% evasion of Aiden, as well as the 20% that Savior Aiden can also get from an artifact. Same with Remnant Violet and most other evasion units. Also, you're going to see that his S3 will give him invincibility, inflict injuries, and also have an increased boost in crit chance. So the injuries is very nice against units that scale with health, and the invincibility is very nice as well to actually survive into the next turn to get another S1 off. Now, the extra crit chance is super nice because it actually makes it so that you only need 50% crit chance to actually reach 100%. This will also apply to his S1 as well. Any extra crit chance will actually work against units with critical hit resistance. So if you actually want to crit against Navy Captain Landies, you can actually build them to 100% crit chance and hope that you actually crit through. Your chance will be a lot higher than if you were at 50%. And yeah, this S3 hits ridiculously hard, and it's super powerful because it's very flexible. You can one-shot squishies, you can cripple high health bruisers such as like APOC Ravi, or whatever scales with health like Laya as well, who's very popular, the new Earth warrior here, because her S3 hits like a truck. But if she gets hit by one Zahhak S3, this ends up doing pretty much no damage, not enough to kill people. And yeah, he's just very flexible with his S3. And then we have his S2, which is also very powerful. If you have him on an exclusive equipment, he can actually attack buff himself and an ally. He also has 2 debuff dispel on this with a CR push going up to 15%. And you can actually get an extra turn after, so you can S2, get this attack buff for yourself, and then S3 and pretty much one-shot any squish unit. It makes him very self-sustainable and self-sufficient because he can cleanse himself and an ally, as well as give attack buff to himself and an ally. Now for his S1, extra crit chance like I mentioned, and it does extra damage when the target is buffed, and this hits like a truck. If you soul burn this can even one-shot a lot of squish units, and I've seen this almost hit like 15k plus. A lot of the times it's just extremely powerful. One of the hardest S1s in the game if the target is buffed. So yeah, very powerful unit. He's also good in PvE because of that cleanse and that attack buff on his S2, especially in like Nightmare, Druleaf Council. And for his exclusive equipment, most of the time you're going to want to run him on the S2 one. Otherwise, you can run him on the resource reduction on his S3, which can be used against units with like Fighting Spirit. But the S2 one is just going to be the best because the attack buff for himself is super strong. Now for his build, pretty simple. You're going to want to run him on a speed set because he can be built decently fast because you don't need that much crit chance on him because of his S3 and his S1 having that built-in crit chance. And after that, you're going to run him on a penetration set, and that is because he is exclusively single target, and pen set for his S1 and S3 will give him a ton of damage. Now if you can't run him on penetration set, you can run him on critical hit chance, but penetration set will be the best value on him. Now for his artifact, I highly recommend Zahhak on Symbol of Unity. It's going to be probably the most used artifact for him. As you guys can see, Symbol of Unity, very powerful artifact, but it is mostly used on Zahhak. The highest user is Zahhak, and it's not even close. And that is because he is primarily going to be an evasion killer. Without this, you still have some RNG against evasion. With this, you can guarantee that you can kill units with evasion because you get 70% hit chance total. Otherwise, you can run him on certain other artifacts as well. For example, you could even run him on his own artifact for extra damage on his S3 after using your S2. But I think you definitely want to guarantee that you land on evasion units. He is the best counter to Savior Aiden currently, so definitely want to make sure you have him on this artifact. Now for his stats, it's going to really be up to what you have on your account gear-wise, and also how fast you want to make him will also come down to what you want to use him with in your team comp. For me, I like to use Zahhak actually as a very fast opener against semi-slow teams. That's why you see my speeds at 280, but in general, you can just invest fully into speed and damage for him. I think 250 speed, 260 speed is probably the average Zahhak. It is definitely good enough to kill pretty much anything with evasion. And then after that, you go 50% crit chance, you go as much crit damage and attack after that as you can. Now you can even drop your Zahhak speed if you're using him mostly into slower teams, right? If you're fighting Guild Wars against like Savior Aidens with SC Airwell and like Navy Captain Landy, what you can actually do is run him slower and then run him with like a faster opener to get rid of that critical hit resistance buff. Really up to you and how you want to use him. For me though, I just use him as a fast opener and I try to go very fast and just contest people. So yeah, very strong unit, one of the most powerful units in the game for PvP for single target damage dealers, and he's super strong in PvE as well. You definitely want to make sure he's on your account. He's just super powerful, and he's going to be a unit that you're going to be using all the time, pretty much forever. You also want to kind of max out his skill enhancements. I haven't because I don't really want to waste my Molas and my Catalysts yet, but maybe later down the line I will finish him. But this is the standard build for Zahhak, I'd say. Not saying mine's the best. I do have 14% extra crit chance, which I can put into speed, but he's still a very powerful unit, even if you don't have the best gear. So we're gonna actually we're gonna test Zahhak here. We have Bran go first. He's not gonna kill Zahhak because of the skill nully from Moonbunny Divinial, and you can see my Briar Witch's area is debuffed, but we can cleanse that right off. And with this S3, I just get to one-shot the Saber Aiden, and you can see it's just a massive overkill, not gonna even be close. This is gonna do, yeah, 21k damage. So even if there was any mitigation, doesn't really matter. That Aiden is just dying. There's no real counterplay, and you can see Zahhak just makes this fight instantly a 3 versus 2, which is insane. And because of that invincibility, he will live to the next turn. You'll see he's gonna just pretty much solo the entire team because I have Briar Witch here preventing revive and just supporting with defense breaks, right? And even though Mercedes is like a very good revenge killer, you can see he takes literally 0 damage. And if we actually soul burn this, he can hit fire units actually with the hit chance. So even against fire units, he's very good. I guess it doesn't apply on his S1, but I have symbol immunity. Does this hit? Yeah, Soulburn S1 does 23k damage. Of course, she was defense broken, but you can kind of see why I say he is probably one of the best damage dealers in the game, just because of the insane amount of damage that Zahhak actually can output against squishy units and tanks alike. That is pretty much it though for Zahhak's showcase. As you guys can see, he is extremely powerful. He counters one of the best free-to-play units in the game in Savior Aiden because of the hit chance in his S3. And he has so much utility with his S2 because he can cleanse, he can give himself an attack buff with an ally, he can CR push an ally as well, as you guys saw with him cleansing my Briar Witch's area and giving her that attack buff to do more damage, and just hits like a truck with every single one of his abilities, while having invincibility actually, and injuries as well. So yeah, definitely a must-have unit. If you guys don't have him, you definitely want to pick him up. And if you guys do already have Zahhak, let me know in the comments down below what stats you have him built on. I know mine's not the best, but I do think that even on bad gear, he's still very powerful. Thank you, as always, for supporting this channel and for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.